Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Ministry Moments. And every Friday, Lord willing, 3 o'clock Central Time, you can go to Ministry Moments YouTube. And by the way, if you'll subscribe, you'll get it every week. And I hope that you will take advantage of it. But 3 o'clock Central Time, Ministry Moments every Friday. And also, I would suggest now that you go to solvechurchproblems.com and subscribe there. There's so much, a myriad of things there that could be a tremendous help to you. And so go to solvechurchproblems.com and subscribe there, as well as Ministry Moments YouTube. Well, I hope you've had a good week. God's been good, hasn't he? You and I ought to just thank God we live in the United States of America, where we still honor the flag and we stand for the flag and kneel for the cross. A lot of attacks on our nation, but it's going to be up to us as Christians to win souls, get people saved, get them down the aisle, get them baptized. Tomorrow's soul winning time. What a great time to get the gospel out. And there are people out there who want to know that they can go to heaven when they die. So I hope you'll take advantage of it. All right, today on Ministry Moments, I want to talk to you about lacking people skills. Lacking people skills. You've heard it said about doctors that so-and-so has a good bedside manner. There's some doctors who have a godlike complex and they can't reach down to where the average person is and to be able to relate to them what they know to them. And that basically is what a daysman is in the Bible. Jesus went to God and as God, he went to man as man. And he was a daysman between the two, our mediator, if you please. So let me talk to you about lacking people skills and give you some thoughts here that maybe might help you. If you can't learn to work with people that you're under or the same level or over, if you haven't developed it, you've got to develop it. Now, we all have likes and dislikes, and we've got to be careful because we can let our likes and dislikes create a schism, an unnecessary schism. You know, there are fights we ought to have, but there's some hills you just shouldn't die on. It's just an absolute, that's why the Bible says that God said, agree with thine adversary. There are times you best just keep your mouth shut and to go on and help them, to help you, to help everybody. So let me give you some thoughts. 65 points, 35 subpoints, 3 jokes, and 2 tear-jerking illustrations. Are you ready? Lacking people skills. Number 1, when you only get along with folks you like, you lack people skills. When you only get along with people you like, that's you lack people skills. Now, let me say, Brother Howes used to say that every man knows something I don't know. Thus, every man is my teacher. That's such a great truth about life and interaction between people. When we traveled together, and I preached with him some 22 years, he would constantly learn and ideas, and he used to put a piece of paper in the back of his Bible. One time I had got my nerve up and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm collecting ideas. And I'm going to take it home and put it in a book and sell it back to him." And he did. People skills, when you only get along with folks you like. Now, this is being self-centered. This is not being a Christian and living for others, because surely now they must be great people. If they like me, they're great people. If they don't like me, they're not very good people. That's so selfish and self-centeredness, and will not allow you to be able to get anything done for the cause of Christ. It's not a solo flight. This is a team effort. Number 2, you lack people skills when you only get along with folks you like. Number 2, when you display a short fuse. Now, lengthen that fuse. I'm not saying that we don't have a right to get angry about be angry and sin not as a Bible principle. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying sometimes we get upset about the dumbest things, and it's in our nature that way. So when you display a short fuse, add some fuse to it. You're never going to get rid of the anger. You can squelch it, you can overwhelm it, but it's never going to go away. It's just the way that it is with human nature. But I'll tell you what you can do: spot it. When you display a short fuse, you just cannot allow time to be an element to create patience and a quantity of patience. Then you're just going to end up ruining relationships, and you've got nothing but people. Uh, all you have in church members is people. All you have on the staff is people. All you have in your neighborhood is people. All you have in your family is people. And so you better learn from this and do it quickly. Don't wait till you get old, but spot it while you're young, and be disciplined. Discipline your emotions. Whosoever will may come. The will is a important factor in your salvation, but it's also, according to Romans chapter 7, it's an important, to will is present with me, Paul said. Paul said, I have a will. And I'm going to have to let that will dominate my life, not my emotions. Because your emotions do, you're going to make some dumb decisions and cut people off that might have been a help to get the gospel out, you see. And Satan loves that. He loves it when uh, Peter and Paul are at each other, and Barnabas and all of that. He loves all of that. And I thank God all turned out for good. But he loves it when the brethren, he's the accuser of the brethren, the Bible says. So don't join his team. All right. Lacking people skills. Number one, when you only get along with people you like. Number two, when you display a short fuse. Number three, when you can't see good in folks you don't like. Now, come on now. Let's face it. There are some people you're attracted to, some people you're not. There's some people you like, some people you don't like. But when you can't see good in folks you don't like, it's all about you. Because if they like you, they're good. If they don't like you, that's a bad person. That's a dumb rascal there. If he doesn't like me, after all, how great I am. But lacking people skills. Number one, when you only get along with folks you like. Number two, when you display a short fuse, lengthen that fuse. We all have a fuse, and we all have a point where we get to where anger comes out. Well, you better add a length to that fuse, and because you're going to cut people off who could be of great help to the cause of Christ. And so you need to be very, very careful. Now, if you violate doctrine, if you're anti-King James Bible and so on and so forth, I haven't got time for you. But if we're on the same team and we believe in holiness and holy living, and we believe in separation, we believe being an independent Baptist, we believe those things to the core. We're going to have a long fuse because of the very nature of what we do. We're passionate about it. The reason you can't hang around liberals is they're too nice. You get to where you like them. Lacking people skills. Number one, when you only get along with folks you like. Number two, when you display a short fuse. Number three, when you can't see good in folks you don't like. Number four, when you cannot see the good in those who dislike you. It's not about you. It's about the cause. Is there not a cause? Number five, when you feel you are better qualified than the boss. If you're working for someone and you say to yourself, man, that guy hadn't got enough sense to get out of the rain, and I could do a better job than this, you better watch it. Absalom's starting to creep out of you. I don't know how many ministries have been hurt because of Absalom's staying at the gates. And if I were king, and you get that stuck in your head, you're gonna be disruptive, and you're going to cause trouble because people are going to seek you out with that critical spirit. They have a critical spirit. They sense you have it, and I don't know. Birds of a feather do flock together. And what's going to happen is they're going to seek you out because they're bitter. They see a little bitterness in you. That's why if somebody contests something that the pastor's doing, just say down the hall, first door to the right. Just send them to the pastor. Don't you get involved. You do not have to answer for the pastor. My wife, when I went off to Bible college, she said, crying, she said, I don't know how to be a pastor's wife. I said, don't feel bad. I don't know how to be a pastor either. But I quickly learned that critical people, they never do anything. Their biggest accomplishment in life is to criticize the things that you do wrong. But it's going to happen. But don't run with them, and don't have that. But anyway, someone would come to my wife and say, I need to talk to you about your husband. My wife would always say, go down the hallway, turn left, and it's the last door to the right. She never felt like she had to answer for me. I didn't have to answer for her, and she didn't answer for me. Okay, number one, lacking people skills. When you only get along with folks you like. It's a little checklist. Now check it off. Number two, when you display a short fuse. Number three, when you can't see good in folks you don't like. Don't tell me that. There's people that rub you raw, and you know it, and I know it. Number four, when you cannot see the good in those who dislike you. Number five, when you feel you are better qualified than the boss, and you get this Absalom attitude, And if you're not careful, you'll be at the gate saying, well, if I were pastor. Uh, Number 6, lack of forgiveness. Forgive and forget. You say it's just impossible to do. No, it's not. No, it's not. Uh, God wants you to forgive. Now, to forgive is hard. To be forgiven is easy, but still can be accomplished. So, lack of forgiveness, lack of 70 times 7, that's 490 times making things right. That's a lot of times. Why is it so many? Because eventually you'll forget. Time will take care of it, but don't harbor, don't get that burr into your saddle and harbor it. Lack of forgiveness. For all have sinned. So even the people you focus on that sin that they did, you better realize you've also committed some sins like they have. So you be careful. Be very careful. Lack of forgiveness. Number 1, when lacking people skills. When you only get along with folks you like. Number 2, when you display a short fuse. Number 3, when you can't see good in folks you don't like. Number 4, when you cannot see the good in those who dislike you. Number 5, talk about lacking people skills now. Number 5, when you feel you are better qualified than the boss. Number 6, lack of forgiveness. Forgive quickly. Forgive quickly. Um, One guy said to me in North Carolina, I taught a lesson on forgiveness. He came to me and he said, can you help me? I thought, I'll try. He said, there's a man in this church owes me $500. And every time I see him, I think about that $500. I said, how long has this been going on? He said, 15 years. I said, good grief, man. Yeah, he said, well, what should I do? Tell him the debt's paid. Clear the debt. Don't ever loan people money. Give it to them, but don't loan it to them. Because you'll have more trouble than Carter's got liver pills. Does Carter still have liver pills? I don't know. Number 7, lack of the big picture. Now this you're lacking people skill. Lack of the big picture. There's a big picture here. It's about getting people saved. It's about getting people to Sunday school, teaching them to win others, to get them in Sunday school, and to reach your community with the gospel. There's a big picture here. Big picture. On a big day, we had 40 bus routes. And on a big day, we had 2 bus captains got in a fight in a parking lot with a brand new family right behind them coming into a church. You know what it was over? A parking spot. A parking spot. Now, they just didn't see the big picture. God bless you. Take it. Take it. You can have the parking spot. But lack of the big picture. Number 8. Hey, this is the last point. Aren't you proud of me? Number 8. Not being a team player. Not being a team player. You strengthen the weak members on the team. Now, I'm not talking about a universal church theory here. I'm talking about a local church, ecclesia, called out body of baptized believers. That's the team. That's the team. I'm not talking about getting along with every fundamentalist in the country or every independent Baptist in the country. That's why we're independent Baptists. Get a bunch of pastors to agree with each other on everything, but you ought to agree with your pastor on everything. Oh, yes. Let him lead. Let him make the shots, call the shots, and you be a good follower. But learn to be a team player. This is a team. Longview Baptist Temple was a team. There's a spirit de corps. I was like the coach. When I preached or taught, I said, fellas, it's halftime. Gals, it's halftime. We need to learn what we didn't do right the first half and what we got to do now in the second half. Okay? Now let's back up. I'm talking about lacking people skills. Number 1, when you only get along with folks you like. Number 2, when you display a short fuse, you lack people skills. Number 3, when you can't see good in folks you don't like. Number 4, when you cannot see the good in those who dislike you. Number 5, when you feel you're better qualified than the boss. Absalom's creeping in. Quit that. Stop it now. Number 6, lack of forgiveness. What the sins they've committed, you've also committed. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. They gossip, you gossip. You get mad, they get mad. We're all made of the same flesh. So you better learn to forgive because you need to be forgiven. All right. Number 7, lack of the big picture. That local church is a team. We're a team. We've got to work together. Now, if someone doesn't block like they should or tackle like they should or run the wrong play and so on and so forth, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But regroup, get back in the huddle and go at it again. Be sure that you don't lack eyesight into the big picture. All right. Number 8, not being a team player. Be a team player. When you see it in basketball, when somebody's fouls somebody or something happens, they slide on their rear end off the court, the team members run over right quick and pick him back up and get him back up on his feet. That's exactly what will happen in the local church. When somebody, and it's going to happen. Somebody's going to trip, somebody's going to fall, somebody's going to make a mistake. When they do, you run over and pick them up. Ye which are spiritual, restore such an one. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. I don't understand this day where we throw everybody under the bus. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. If it were your son, you wouldn't do it. If you're your daughter, you wouldn't do it. But because you've got some type of burr under your saddle, we're in the restoration business. Okay, let me put it this way. There's rejoicing in heaven over one sinner that repents. I have a question for you. Does it say in the verse 10 and verse 17 of Luke 15, does it say that's salvation? It doesn't say that. There's rejoicing in the presence. The angels aren't rejoicing. In the presence of the angels over one sinner that repents. Hey, could that not be somebody being reclaimed that repents and gets back in the fold, gets back in the work? I think so. I think it's both. Now, that's why I think it's important. You've got to have people skills. You've got to have it. You don't have to be a solo flight person. Be a team player. You don't have to be the chief. You could be an Indian. Let's all work together. God places the pastor there. God, we're supposed to be. God places the deacons, the Sunday school teachers, the leadership, the staff, and so on. So let's work together. Let's be a team. And let's not lack people skills. Let's learn to forgive each other quickly. Well, God bless you. Hope this was a help to you. Every Friday, 3 o'clock Central Time. You join us now. Tomorrow's soul winning time, Saturday. There are people out there that want to be saved. You just got to get up and get going until you find them and get them into church. And Sunday school is the beginning of church too, by the way. God bless you. Have a great weekend.